There seemed picture-perfect conditions in O'Donnell Park on Saturday for the first of the Michael Murphy Sports Senior Championship semi-finals. Malon bidding for a first ever final berth, and the Old Dogs for the hard road Glenswilly looking to reach their fifth decider. Malon were more clinical early on, and Stephen Fildara drilled over this fine score to open the scoring. The swirling wind around the playing area caused the free takers trouble as Gary McFadden found out to his cost. At the other end, Christy Fildara had no such trouble, and he brilliantly sailed over as the underdogs Malon visibly grew in confidence. But Glenswilly levelled again with a Route 1 move. Goalkeeper James Gallagher punted to the middle of the park. Neil Gallagher flicked the kick out to his brother Cahill. He made ground before laying off to Michael Murphy, who did the rest with a fine point. Neil Gallagher really showed his worth to his club in this tense, tight battle, this point putting the Glen men in front for the first time. The teams were level at 5 points apiece as Malon's Brendan Fildara clipped over this point late in the half. Brendan Fildara tapped over a close-range free for Malon at the start of the second half. But Gary McFadden did likewise for Glenswilly, and there was still nothing to separate the sides. Murphy appeared to injure his hamstring at one stage and was in distress for some time, but showed no ill effects with this fine point to open up a 2-point lead for the first time. But Malon just wouldn't go away, and Brendan Fildara's free gave them hope in the late exchanges. But cometh the hour, cometh Neil Gallagher, and this fabulous effort finally sealed a 0-9 to 0-7 win for Michael Canning's team, who are final bound once again. Joe Gibbons, and a fifth county final in 10 years for Glenswilly. I'm delighted to get over the line today.
Oh, absolutely delighted. That was a battle. We knew it was going to be a battle. Conditions were good, but we were put to the pit of our colour, and I'll tell you, there weren't much left in the tank when we were finished there.
Good way to begin into a final though, Joe.
Oh, definitely. Any way you get into a final, Chris, you don't care how you get into a final. Semi-finals are there to be won, whether you won them by 10 points or win them by 1. It's just there to be won, and we are absolutely thrilled to be back in a county final again.
Fair to say that experience and probably big game know-how saw you through at the end up there.
Aye, probably. We didn't panic, any of us. We were keeping the ball, but we were finding scores hard to come by. They were pretty defensive. But fair play to Malon, they come and they had their game plan worked to a T, and they really put it up to us, and we're just absolutely thrilled, as I say, to be back in a county final.
What was said in there, Joe, at half time? Because it was a pretty kind of tense, low scoring first half, and I suppose the game really hadn't come to life in the opening period.
No, I suppose if you're asking a lot of neutrals, the game didn't come to life at all. But at half time we weren't overly concerned, because we'd played against, I would say people didn't understand, there were a fairly hard one there, and it was 5-5 after playing against that one. But we thought at half time, after staying level with them, that we would be thereabouts. But the second half just proved as tough as the first, if not tougher. And as I say, we're just lucky to get out of there.
You spurned a lot of chances throughout the game, first half and second half. Was there a fear there coming in maybe to the last 10 minutes that you could have kicked the game away?
I suppose when you're level with 10 minutes to go or 15 minutes to go or whatever it was, there's always that fear. But we knew if we kept plugging away, you've got to make the chances, and there's no point making the chances if you're not willing to take them on. And we knew if we kept having a go for the chances that eventually they would crawl over the bar, and thankfully them last couple get over the bar and it got us out of jail.
And massive score by Big Neil late in the day.
What can I say about that, man? The old dog for the hard road.
And come here, looking forward now, fifth final in 10 years, Joe. It's a monumental achievement by the club.
Monumental. Listen, a lot of young fellas come on there this year. For old boys like us to be in the fifth final in 10 years, we're just thrilled. But now there's no point getting to a final unless we can knuckle down, work hard over the next fortnight, and whoever we get to, like Glenswilly or Kilcar, will give them a good shot.
Champions Naomh Conaill had defeated St Eunan's in the quarter-final, but came up against another heavyweight in the form of Martin McHugh's Kilcar in the second semi-final on Sunday evening. Naomh Conaill had a dream start. Kieran Thompson down the left-hand side fed Owen McGettigan, who worked a chance in on the end line for Liam McClune, who flicked home from an acute angle, and a goal for the champions after just 5 minutes. Naomh Conaill had a big win over Kilcar at this same semi-final stage last year, and John O'Malley's long-range point put 4 between them in this one. Ryan McHugh, one of the form players in the country, got in to put Kilcar off the mark in the 6th minute, showing superb determination to work the chance. But Naomh Conaill went down the other end, and Seamus Corcoran boomed over to reaffirm their early dominance. Kilcar got themselves right back in it though. Ryan McHugh made an incision with this run before offloading to veteran Michael Hegarty to fire home the first of the Townie men's goals. Patrick McBurty got to work with this fine point to bring the margins even tighter as Kilcar began to warm to the task. Space was at a premium, but Brendan McDyer managed to wriggle himself free to point for Naomh Conaill. Hegarty and McBurty were central to the Kilcar second goal, Hegarty sending McBurty on his way, and he transferred to Conor Doherty, who still had work to do, but Doherty kept his cool to fire home and put Kilcar in front for the first time. Kilcar haven't been to a final since 1993, but this superb score from McBurty showed a team very much on song. Kilcar had a chance of a third goal when Matthew McLean was fouled and Jimmy White, the referee, awarded a penalty. Up stepped McBurty, but his kick was saved by the Naomh Conaill goalkeeper, Stephen McGrath. Liam McClune clipped over at the other end as Naomh Conaill stayed in touch. But it was Kilcar who finished the first half in style. Owen McHugh slotted home another goal and they led by 3-4 to 1-6 at half-time. This peach from Ryan McHugh in the opening minute of the second half set the tone for what was to follow. And although Kieran Thompson did take the fight to the challengers for Naomh Conaill, Kilcar were able to open up a 5-point lead with just 10 minutes gone in the second half. Ryan McHugh wonderfully firing over off his right foot. Naomh Conaill had a chance of a real lifeline when they themselves were awarded a penalty. But young Owen McGettigan saw his effort saved by the Kilcar goalkeeper, Eamon McGinley. Kilcar went for the jugular, and McBurty powered in to net a fourth goal for the Townie men. The Southwest side are a team on a mission. Owen McHugh wasn't born when Kilcar won the last of their Dr. Maguires in '93, but is one of the reasons they're favourites this time. And this goal sealed a 5-10 to 111 win. Kilcar back in the Donegal Senior Football Championship final.
We just looked at the scoreboard. Last year your side, you were in charge, 11-point defeat by Naomh Conaill. It's almost a perfect turnaround for you. Very impressive victory tonight.
Yeah, particularly, the way I look at it, Alan, is from the point of view of we give them a 5-point start, and it didn't look good at that stage, to tell you the truth. But fair play to the lads, they dug deep. We said, whatever comes along. So yeah, after a shaky start now, in fairness, we'll be happy enough with it after that. But look at a shaky start, and it took us a while to get to grips with it. But the lads themselves got to grips with it on the field. But I have to say about Naomh Conaill, they're the model, and I said it to Martin Regan, the model we're all trying to follow in this county. They're credited as a club. They're in reserve semi-final, senior semi-final, under 21 semi-final, and minor semi. That's the model that we're trying to get up there to Kilcar. And it's a good result today for us, but in saying that, as I say, we're only into a final, and so while Kilcar have been in a final, and we know Glenswilly are well used to being in a final, so different games go out differently, but we're just glad to get into a final from a club point of view that is a long time, since 1993, we haven't even contested a final since that, so for the people of Kilcar, it's nice to be in a final.
And I suppose you said at the start there when Leo McLuhan punched in, you must have been impressed by the way your team didn't panic, because you have fallen at the semi-final stage a few times before. Yeah,
and that's down to the players themselves. I leave them on their own as much as possible, and that's what I do, and that's what you have to do. And they showed that leadership quality today. They didn't panic, and that was important thing. You're right, Alan. They didn't panic, and it was important. We didn't panic at that stage, and that's the great thing we've taken out of the game. You always take things differently out of the game. I suppose the Termon game we took something different out of it, and different games you take something different out of it. And tonight we took definitely that there out of it. That we didn't panic when it mattered. And fair play to the lads.
We said last week your side wasn't far off hitting the gallop. They seem to hit the gallop tonight there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, listen, they're in good shape, good fitness wise, and good shape. And the difficult thing from our point of view, and Eunice would say the same thing. We had to peak very early, both of us, for a championship game. And so the lads, lucky enough, are still in good enough shape. We picked up a couple of injuries the other night. We've lost Barry Shovelin here last week. Barry's broken his leg, which is disappointing that there, because he's playing really well. And there tonight we picked up a couple of injuries there tonight. But hopefully they'll be okay. We have 2 weeks now. Maybe 1 week is very tight. Dara Goller picked up a knock last week, and he was just saying to me a calf muscle, and the week was too tight for him to recover. So at least we have 2 weeks to recover.
Yeah, and you'll get a chance to look at, I suppose, Glenswilly. They're a side that Kilcar have actually done quite well against in recent years, even though Glenswilly might have gone further in the championship.
Yeah, we haven't done well against them in championship at times now. They beat us here 2011. I remember my dad was in hospital that time, and they beat us well enough here in 2011. So look, it's again a new test, but look, we're just glad, Alan, to be in the final, and it's a hurdle to get over. Some people kind of, maybe we didn't have the physical power, and we didn't have all this here, and that kind of stuff, it's just good enough to be in the final. And from a Kilcar point of view, we're just happy to be in the final. And now it's different. It's not new territory for Glenswilly. It's definitely new territory for Kilcar. Even for the Kilcar county players, it's new territory for them to be in a county final.
Yeah, Glenswilly in the 5th final in 10 years as a senior club, as you said yourself, in 1993. But I suppose for the likes of Michael Hegarty and these sort of guys who've been around the scene, like great club player, it's just reward for him. Yeah. I totally agree. It's great for Michael Hegarty and Conor McShane, but look, at the finals, you have to win them when you get into finals, and that's the important thing. It's great to be in a final, and we'll deal with that tomorrow. We'll have a recovery session tomorrow and everything else, so we'll just deal with that at that stage. But look, at all we are, as I said, is in a final. It is good for Michael Hegarty and Conor McShane. They kept, at times when things were tough in the club, they're the people you looked to keep the team in the second division at times and try. And now it's different for them, because lucky enough that they're still playing and playing well, the two of them, and you've Declan Goller on the bench, and like Sir Patrick Goller played well the other day, and that's what we have. We probably don't have as big a squad as other teams would have, but we can't afford to lose many players with injuries and everything else, the way it is with the squad and everything else. But look, we're happy enough with where we're at now and everything else, and we'll assess it now with injuries and everything else. And we know, as you said about Glenswilly, we talk about Glen's been a great club. Glenswilly have to get a lot of credit for a small club, what they've achieved, and back in a final again, and you have to give them a lot of credit as a club, and that's great. And there was a big crowd here tonight as well, and that's what we want. Look at that football we had here tonight from two teams, playing football the way we want to see football played. And I thought, it's not easy to be standing on the sideline because you don't really enjoy it, but I thought it was great. The football was played by both teams. And there'll probably be a clash of styles now come Glenswilly. I suppose by their own admission they weren't great today, but they have that experience and still won the game.
Yeah, and we've always found them hard to play against, and when he teamed in it, Michael Murphy and Neil Gallagher, and Gary McFadden and them players about. Listen, Kieran Bonan was back as well, so we know it's a different test and it's going to be a tough test, but that's what you have to do, and all we do is look forward to the final.
And is it going to be hard just to keep the expectations down? You can see the Kilcar support here, very loud, very excited, and it'll be a good 2 weeks for them.
Yeah, it's understandable that they haven't been in a final in a long time, and there'll be some younger ones that would probably never seen the team in a final, and a lot of older people wouldn't have seen the team in a final. So, from that point of view, it's good for them. But look at the players; it's all about the players. Look at they're level-headed completely. They chat out in the field themselves, and they know where they're at, and they know it's. Look at it's. As I said, we're just in a final. I keep saying that there's nothing won yet.